There comes a moment in every believer's life when the weight becomes too heavy to carry. You try to fix your situation. You try to hold everything together. You try to stay strong, even when your heart is breaking. But nothing changes. Ibn Arabi says this moment is not a sign that you have failed. It is a sign that Allah is about to begin, because the greatest transformations in your life don't start when you fight harder. They start when you finally whisper, "Ya Allah, I can't do this alone." That is the moment heaven moves. That is the moment destiny shifts. That is the moment Allah takes over what you were never meant to carry. This video is not just knowledge. It is a reminder that what you cannot fix, Allah can. What you cannot control, Allah already has. And what looks impossible to you is effortless for Him. Today, we enter the wisdom of Ibn Arabi, 7 powerful lessons that show how your life changes when you release the burden, trust Him completely, and let Allah fix what you cannot. Ibn Arabi teaches that the unseen world moves long before anything becomes visible to you. Just because you cannot feel progress does not mean Allah is not already arranging every detail behind the scenes. Allah's work is not limited to your senses. Sometimes He hides His mercy until the exact moment your heart is ready to receive it. There are days when you make dua with tears, but nothing changes. You wait, you hope, you try to understand why the delay continues. Yet the silence of Allah is not rejection, it is preparation. Allah often shapes you in private before He blesses you in public. What seems still to you is not still at all to Allah. Think of the seed buried in the soil. You see nothing, no movement, no growth. But underneath, roots are forming that will soon break through the surface. If you judge the seed by what your eyes see, you would think nothing is happening. But the truth is that the most important part of growth happens where no eye can see. Likewise, Allah builds the foundation of your blessing in the unseen. Sometimes Allah delays a blessing because the version of you right now cannot hold it. And sometimes He removes something from your life because it was blocking what He wants to give you. His wisdom is bigger than your desire, and His timing is better than your planning. Allah is never late. Allah is never early. He is always exact. When you realize this, your heart stops panicking over what you cannot see, because the unseen is where Allah works best. Ibn Arabi explains that Allah never places a burden on you that He expects you to carry alone. When something feels too heavy, it is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that this burden was never meant for your limited strength. It was meant for Allah's limitless power. We try so hard to control everything: our future, our risks, our relationships, our problems. We stay awake with worry, thinking that if we don't fix it, nothing will change. But this is the illusion. Some burdens are meant to break your pride, not your spirit. They remind you that you are a servant, not the controller of destiny. When you reach your limit, Allah is teaching you dependence, not defeat. He is telling you, "This weight belongs to me." The moment you stop resisting and say, "Ya Allah, I leave this in your hands," the heaviness begins to lift. Not because the problem disappeared instantly, but because you finally placed it where it belongs with Him. True surrender is not giving up. It is realizing that your strength alone was never enough. You try your best, but you do not carry what is beyond you. Allah does not want you crushed under the weight of things meant for His power. Every time you feel overwhelmed, remember, the burden that bends your back is the very burden Allah wants to take from your hands. What you release to Allah, He replaces with peace. Ibn Arabi teaches that Tawakkul, true trust in Allah, has the power to transform realities. When you rely on Allah with sincerity, the world around you begins to shift in ways logic cannot explain. Allah controls hearts, circumstances, opportunities, and outcomes. Nothing is too fixed for Him to change. Sometimes you stand before a situation that looks impossible. People tell you it will never work. Your mind shows you every reason to lose hope. The door seems locked from every angle. But Allah is not limited by what people say or what your eyes see. One moment of divine mercy can change the direction of your entire life. Trust in Allah does not mean sitting still. It means doing your part and then handing the result to Him. When you trust, He opens a path you did not see. He softens a heart that refused to listen. He turns a closed door into a new beginning. He brings solutions from sources you never imagined. The one who trusts Allah never loses, because Allah never disappoints the heart that relies on Him. You may not understand how it will work, but you don't need to. That is Allah's job. Your job is to trust Him more than your fear, more than your doubt, more than the opinions of people, and more than the limits of your own understanding. When you trust Allah completely, the impossible becomes possible, because the one who controls everything is guiding your life. Ibn Arabi teaches that nothing in your life breaks you without a divine purpose behind it. You may see your pain as something that destroyed you, but Allah sees it as the tool that shapes you into the person you were always meant to become. What you call a setback, Allah calls preparation. What you call a heartbreak, Allah calls cleansing. What you call loss, Allah calls replacement. Every wound you carry has a wisdom hidden inside it. But that wisdom only becomes clear after you pass through the difficulty. Before that, all you feel is the weight of the pain, and that is natural. Allah never expects you to enjoy hardship, but He does expect you to learn through it. Sometimes the pain you experienced was the only thing strong enough to detach you from something harmful. Sometimes the disappointment was the only way Allah could redirect you. Sometimes the heartbreak was the only way to break your attachment to the wrong person. And sometimes the loss was the only door through which Allah could send something better. Ibn Arabi says that what Allah removes from your life is often an act of mercy disguised as pain. You think you are being destroyed, but you are actually being rebuilt, piece by piece, in a form that is stronger, wiser, and closer to Allah. Think about a clay vessel. Before it becomes beautiful pottery, the clay must be pressed, shaped, and placed into intense heat. Without pressure, it would remain shapeless. Without fire, it would stay weak and fragile. The process is painful, but the result is strength. In the same way, your soul must sometimes pass through pressure and heat to develop qualities you would never gain from an easy life. Many people beg Allah to strengthen them, but strength cannot grow in comfort. Many ask Allah to purify them, but purification requires removal, cleansing, and sometimes heartbreak. Many ask Allah to elevate them, but elevation often starts with being pushed down so you can rise in a higher way. Loss softens your heart, hardship humbles your ego, pain detaches you from illusions, struggle awakens your soul. You begin to understand that nothing truly breaks a believer except the separation from Allah, and sometimes hardship is what brings you back to Him. There are moments when you look at your life and say, "Why did Allah let this happen to me?" But if you could see what He was protecting you from, or what He plans to replace it with, you would fall into sujood out of gratitude. What you consider damage is often the beginning of a divine reconstruction. Allah never breaks you to leave you broken. He breaks you to rebuild you in a form more capable of holding His blessings. You may not see the benefit right now. You may feel lost, scattered, or weakened. But every difficulty is moving you closer to a version of yourself that you have not yet met, a version who trusts more, fears less, and stands stronger. When Allah rebuilds you, the final result is always better than the version that existed before the hardship. And when you reach that version, you understand the truth Ibn Arabi emphasized. What felt like breaking was actually Allah shaping you with His own hands. Ibn Arabi explains that surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is one of the highest spiritual strengths a believer can possess. When you surrender to Allah, you are not giving up. You are giving in to the one who knows what you do not know, sees what you cannot see, and controls what you will never control. Most people spend years pushing at the wrong doors. They force outcomes, chase things that run away from them, and exhaust themselves trying to create a life that was never meant for them. They confuse effort with control. They think if they keep pushing harder, the door will eventually open. But Allah does not open doors because of force. He opens them because of reliance and sincerity. Ibn Arabi says a believer who surrenders is like a river. When the river stops resisting the direction of the current, it begins to flow naturally and effortlessly toward its destination. In the same way, when you stop resisting Allah's plan, your life begins to move in directions you never imagined smoothly, naturally, and without unnecessary struggle. Surrender does not mean you stop trying. It means you do your part and release the outcome. It means you strive with your hands, but trust with your heart. It means you take steps, but you let Allah choose the direction. The moment you say, Ya Allah, I leave this matter in your hands, something shifts in the unseen. The pressure that suffocated your heart begins to dissolve. The confusion that blinded you starts to clear. The path that once felt blocked slowly begins to open, not because you finally pushed hard enough, but because you finally stepped aside and let Allah guide you. Many people don't realize this. Sometimes the door you wanted so badly is locked because Allah is protecting you from entering a place that would harm you. Other times, a door stays closed because a better one is being prepared, and entering too early would ruin the blessing. When you surrender, Allah replaces force with flow. You stop chasing what doesn't belong to you. You stop begging for what was never written for you. You stop breaking yourself, trying to control what was always in His hands. And then, the miracle happens. Opportunities you never asked for begin to appear. People come into your life at the exact moment you need them. Solutions emerge from places you never looked. You receive blessings you didn't even know to ask for. This is the beauty of surrender. Allah doesn't just give you what you wanted. He gives you what you didn't even realize you needed. Sometimes Allah delays what you want, so He can give you what is better. Sometimes He closes a door to redirect you to a path far more suited for your destiny. And sometimes He gives you exactly what your heart desires, but only after He has purified your intention and removed your attachments. Surrender frees your heart from the weight of trying to control what is beyond your reach. It brings you peace in a world filled with noise. It gives you clarity in moments of confusion, but most importantly, it aligns your life with the wisdom of the one who never makes mistakes. Ibn Arabi emphasizes that the one who surrenders to Allah walks with a different kind of tranquility. They don't panic when plans fail. They don't crumble when people leave. They don't drown in fear when life shifts unexpectedly, because they know that everything happening is part of a divine arrangement crafted with perfect knowledge, mercy, and precision. And when Allah decides to open a door for you, you will realize it was never your effort that made it open. It was your surrender. Ibn Arabi teaches that every need placed in your heart is not random. It is not an accident. It is not a coincidence. It is a sign, a signal, a whisper from Allah that the answer already exists and is already written long before the need even appeared inside you. Human beings often think their needs are a sign of weakness, but in reality, they are a sign of Allah's nearness. The need is placed in your heart only after its solution has been prepared. The thirst comes only after the water has been created. The longing arrives only after the path to fulfillment has been arranged. You feel the emptiness because its filling has already been written in your destiny. When you feel desperate, alone, or in need, your heart becomes soft and it turns naturally toward Allah. And this turning is the real blessing. Your need becomes a bridge between you and your Lord. If you had no needs, no heaviness, no longing, you might never seek Him. Sometimes, Allah uses emptiness to pull you closer. Ibn Arabi says, "A need that brings you to Allah is better than a blessing that distracts you from Him." This is why some of your needs stay unresolved longer, not because Allah is denying you, but because the need itself is still doing its job keeping your heart connected to Him. Think about it. There were times in your life when you desperately wanted something. You cried for it. You prayed for it. You thought you could not live without it. But when Allah finally gave it to you, you realized the waiting changed you. The delay purified you. The longing softened you. And by the time the blessing arrived, you were a different person. Someone more grateful, more aware, more connected. Allah always prepares the answer before the struggle, but He reveals the answer after the struggle. Between the preparation and the revelation, your heart grows. Look at your life. The times you felt lost, guidance came. The times you felt abandoned, comfort arrived. The times you felt broken, healing followed. You survived things you thought would finish you. You overcame obstacles you thought were too big. You walked through nights you thought would never end. None of those solutions came from your strength alone. They came because Allah already wrote the escape long before you entered the difficulty. When you say, "I don't know how to fix this," Allah says, "I already have." When you say, "I don't know what to do," Allah says, "My plan is already in motion." When you say, "I'm scared," Allah says, "My protection reached you before fear did." Ibn Arabi reminds us that Allah is never surprised by your situation. He is never caught off guard. He never scrambles to find a solution. Everything is written before you breathe, before you speak, before you ask, before you fear, before you fall. What is unknown to you is already completed in His knowledge. Your need for guidance means guidance has already been created. Your need for comfort means comfort is already on the way. Your need for forgiveness means mercy is already waiting for you. Your need for change means transformation is already prepared. Even the dua you make is written. You ask because Allah wants to give. You feel the need because Allah wants to fulfill it. You don't make dua to inform Allah of your need. He knew it before you were born. You make dua so Allah can open your heart to receive what He has already prepared. The problem is that we confuse timing with absence. If something doesn't arrive immediately, we assume Allah doesn't want to give it. But the truth is simpler. What takes time to build is meant to last. Anything worth receiving is worth preparing. You cannot plant a seed today and expect a fruit tomorrow. Growth has stages. Blessings have timing. And Allah gives when the heart is ready to hold the answer with gratitude instead of arrogance. Your waiting is not empty. Your longing is not wasted. Your tears are not ignored. Every moment of need is pushing you toward the exact place Allah wants you to be. Every unanswered prayer is shaping your heart for the right moment. Every delay is arranging details you cannot see. And when the answer finally arrives, it fits perfectly, heals deeply, and stays permanently, because it came from Allah, not from your own effort. So the next time you feel a need pressing on your heart, do not panic. Do not think Allah forgot you. Do not assume the worst. Instead, remember, if He placed the need inside you, the answer is coming. It may come slowly, gently, unexpectedly, or suddenly, but it will come. Allah does not create needs out of cruelty. He creates them to bring you closer, to strengthen your faith, to open new doors, and to remind you that you were never meant to walk through this life alone. Your needs are not a burden. They are a sign of divine attention, and every need written in your heart is already tied to an answer written in your destiny. Ibn Arabi teaches that the believer who places their full trust in Allah lives with a heart that cannot be broken by the world. Fear still comes, yes. Worry still whispers, yes. But nothing settles deeply enough to shake them, because they know the one holding their life is far more powerful than anything trying to harm it. Most fear comes from imagining a future without Allah. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? What if things never get better? What if this pain never leaves? These fears grow when a person believes they must face life alone. But the moment you remember Allah is with you, these fears begin to dissolve. Because how can you fear the future when the one who controls the future is guiding you? How can you fear loss when the one who replaces, heals, and restores stands beside you? Fear makes you overthink, overplan, and overreact. Trust makes you breathe again. Ibn Arabi says that true trust, Tawakkul, is not when you claim to trust Allah with your tongue. It is when your heart rests in His promise, even when everything around you feels uncertain. It is when your soul whispers, Allah is with me, and that is enough to calm every storm inside you. Look back at your life. How many times did you panic thinking something terrible would happen? How many times did you lose sleep over problems that eventually solved themselves? How many times did you imagine the worst, only for Allah to bring something better than you expected? Fear lies, trust reveals. Fear hides blessings. Trust uncovers them. Fear blinds you to possibilities. Trust shows you paths you never saw. When you trust Allah completely, life does not become easier, you become stronger. Hardships still come, but you face them with calm. People still disappoint you, but your heart stays stable. Plans still fail, but your heart doesn't collapse with them, because you know every outcome is already written with wisdom and mercy. True trust is not hoping everything will go your way. True trust is believing everything will go Allah's way, and that His way is always better than yours. Ibn Arabi describes the heart of the one who trusts Allah as a heart that walks through fire without burning, not because the fire isn't real, but because Allah protects them in ways they never expect. When you trust Allah, you stop fearing loss, because you know nothing meant for you can ever be taken. You stop fearing mistakes because you know Allah guides those who turn to Him. You stop fearing uncertainty because uncertainty is only a word for what Allah has not revealed yet. Trust transforms your inner world. It changes how you see every pain, every delay, every closed door, every unanswered prayer. You begin to say, "This is for me, not against me." You say, "Allah is doing something here, even if I don't understand it yet." You say, "If Allah chose this moment for me, then this moment is exactly what I need." This level of trust gives you a peace that cannot be purchased with wealth, achieved with success, or earned with status. It is a peace that sits inside your heart like a quiet light. Even when storms rage outside, the inside remains calm. Think about the prophets. Their lives were not free from trials. They faced danger, loneliness, rejection, and hardship. But what made them unshakable was not their strength, it was their trust. They walked into uncertainty knowing Allah was ahead of them. They faced enemies knowing Allah surrounded them. They endured heartbreak knowing Allah saw them. Your trust does the same for you. Every time you rely on Allah, you are placing your heart in hands that never fail. Every time you hand over your fear, Allah replaces it with strength. Every time you choose trust instead of panic, Allah opens doors that panic would have kept closed. Fear takes away your energy. Trust restores it. Fear makes you feel small. Trust reminds you of the greatness of the one you rely on. Fear steals your sleep. Trust brings you rest. Ibn Arabi says, "The one who knows Allah does not fear his creation, because when Allah becomes your protector, nothing else has power over you. Life will still test you, but with trust, the test becomes lighter. Life will still bring disappointment, but with trust, the disappointment becomes a lesson. Life will still bring uncertainty, but with trust, uncertainty becomes an opportunity to witness Allah's plan unfold. When you trust Allah completely, you don't fear the unknown. You look forward to what Allah will bring from it. You don't fear tomorrow. You know the Lord who took care of you yesterday will take care of you tomorrow too. You don't fear change. You know, change is one of Allah's ways of guiding you to a better version of yourself. And when trust becomes your foundation, you live a life beyond fear. You live with a heart anchored in the one who never changes, never leaves, never forgets, and never fails. This is the life Ibn Arabi invites you to, a life where trust becomes your strength, Allah becomes your companion, and fear becomes something you rise above, not something you bow to. At the end of all your battles, all your overthinking, all your quiet fears, there is one truth Ibn Arabi keeps returning to. You were never meant to carry this life on your own. What overwhelms you is nothing to the one who created you. What confuses you is clear to the one who sees every detail. What you cannot fix is already written in his plan. Every hardship you faced, every door that closed, every delay that broke you, none of it was Allah abandoning you. It was Allah guiding you back to where you were always supposed to stand. In surrender, in trust, in complete reliance on Him, the moment you say, Ya Allah, I leave this in your hands, the burden shifts from your shoulders to His mercy. And nothing placed in Allah's hands is ever lost, ever wasted, or ever ignored. So as you leave this video, remember one thing: you do not need to know how everything will work out. You only need to know who is taking care of it. Trust Him, speak to Him, hand over what is breaking you, because Allah will fix what you can't. And when He does, you'll look back and realize this was never the end of your story. It was the moment your story finally opened to His plan.